I still remember clearly the day I signed that contract. The smell of old paper, faded ink, and that chill running down my spine as I read each line. Party A agrees to lease their physical body to Party B from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. each night. It wasn't an easy decision, but back then, hunger and mounting debts left me with no other choice. My name is Mai, and I was just barely surviving in this harsh city. The person who called himself the client appeared in a smart black suit, his face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat, revealing only a cryptic smirk. His voice was deep, like an echo from somewhere far away. He said he needed a host to conduct special transactions at night, and I, with my good health and stable mind, was the perfect choice. I didn't ask many questions. The pay was so generous that I was willing to cast aside all doubts. The first few weeks passed relatively peacefully. I went to bed at midnight and usually woke up at 3:01 a.m., feeling tired but nothing too unusual. My room was always clean, with no strange signs. I began to get used to having a part of my life stolen every night. It was like a strange dream I couldn't recall. But then, everything started to change. Around the fourth week, I began waking up with strange bruises on my body. A long scratch on my arm, a deep bruise on my thigh. At first, I thought I'd bumped into something in my sleep. I'm clumsy, after all. But the injuries kept appearing more and more, becoming clearer. Once, I found a deep cut on my palm, as if I'd clutched something sharp. Along with the wounds came fragmented, disjointed memories. Short, unclear clips, as if I were watching a staticky TV channel. I saw myself standing in a dark, cold alley, the smell of dampness filling my nostrils. There were screams, sounds of breaking. I saw a pair of bloodshot eyes staring at me in the dark, a ghostly smile. I didn't know who it was, or what I was doing there. A sense of horror welled up, making me shiver. I began to question everything. What was this client doing with my body every night? What were those special transactions? I tried to stay awake, drinking strong black coffee, but every night at 1 a.m., an overwhelming drowsiness would hit me, pulling me into an irresistible sleep. I knew it wasn't normal sleep. There was a force compelling me. One night, I tried to resist. I hid a knife under my pillow, determined not to let anything control me anymore. I closed my eyes, trying to stay conscious, but just a few minutes later, I felt a cold current sweep over me, and then, darkness swallowed me whole. The next morning, I woke up with a sharp pain in my shoulder. I pulled my shirt down and saw a large tear, dried blood matted to it. The knife under my pillow was gone. Instead, a tight rope was tied around my wrist, digging deep into my skin. Blood. Dried blood on the sheets. I panicked. What had I done? Or rather, who had done this to me? The memories from that night were a little clearer. I saw myself running in a forest, under a dim moon. There were dog barks, people chasing me. I was gasping for breath, my heart pounding in my chest. I heard my own voice, but it wasn't my voice. It was deeper, hoarser, full of rage. No one can stop me. That voice roared. I was terrified. I couldn't continue this. I wanted to terminate the contract. But when I called the phone number on the contract, there was only a long, continuous beep. He had vanished. In the following days, I lived in extreme fear. Every night, I was dragged into that world of darkness. I no longer remembered what I had done, but I knew it was getting more and more horrifying. Once, I woke up covered in mud, with a strong metallic smell in the air. My hands trembling, I picked up my phone and turned on the front camera. Beneath my chin, there was a new scar, long and deep. I started searching for information about strange cases happening in the city. I read newspapers, watched local news. And then, I saw it. A series of mysterious disappearances, unexplained deaths. All occurred between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. The victims all had strange injuries, similar to mine. My hands trembled as I read an old article. A serial killer had vanished without a trace years ago. He was known as the Soul Thief. He had a bizarre habit of possessing other people's bodies to commit his crimes. He believed his soul was too powerful to be confined to a single body. I collapsed to the floor, cold sweat breaking out. Him. It was him. He had found me. He had rented my body. I was the host of a killer. I couldn't live like this anymore. I had to escape him. I went to a psychiatrist, but I couldn't tell him the whole truth. He'd think I was crazy. I only said I was having nightmares and fragmented memories. He prescribed me tranquilizers, but I knew they wouldn't work. Whatever was haunting me wasn't a normal nightmare. I started looking for other methods. I read books about spirituality, about exorcism. I tried everything, from lighting candles and praying to sprinkling salt around my bed. Nothing worked. Every night, that dark shadow still dragged me away. One night, I woke up in the middle of it. This time, I wasn't pulled into a deep sleep. I was somewhere, in a cold, stifling room. Moonlight streamed through a dusty window. I looked down at my hand and saw a knife. In front of me was a man. He lay motionless on the floor, blood pooling around him. I was horrified. What had I done? Or had he done this with my body? A voice whispered in my head, cold and eerie, "Do you see? You cannot escape me. We are one." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My throat was parched. I wanted to run, but my feet felt nailed to the floor. I felt a cold energy invading me, controlling every muscle. I struggled. I thrashed. I fought with the thing inside me. It wasn't a dream. It was a fight for my life. I saw myself staggering out of that room, walking through dark alleys. I saw the faces of other victims, people he had once possessed. They looked at me, their eyes filled with reproach and sorrow. They were waiting. I don't know where I went, or what I did that night. When I woke up, I was lying on the sidewalk, my whole body aching. The bright morning sun made me squint. I tried to sit up and saw a crowd gathered in the distance. I shuffled closer. Police had cordoned off an area. A body was covered with a tarp. I saw a woman weeping beside it. My heart tightened. I had a chilling feeling. I squeezed through the crowd and looked. And then, I saw it. The scar on the victim's neck, identical to my scar. The cut on the hand, identical to mine. I turned and ran. Ran as fast as I could, not daring to look back. I knew I was no longer myself. A part of me had been permanently taken by him. I started to hurt myself. I wanted to feel pain, to know that I still existed, that I wasn't a mindless puppet. I cut my arms, my legs. Blood flowed, bright red. I felt pain, but it was a familiar pain. But I knew I couldn't live like this forever. I had to find a way to end it all. One night, as drowsiness set in, I no longer resisted. I closed my eyes and let him take control. This time, I didn't fight. I listened. I listened to his voice in my head. He told me about his crimes, about the souls he had devoured. He said he was immortal, that he would live forever through me. I knew I had to do something drastic. I tried to record what I saw, what I heard. I wrote in a notebook, each line trembling. I wanted to leave evidence. And then, I made the final decision. When 1 a.m. came, I didn't resist anymore. I let him fully possess my body. But this time, I was prepared. I had left a strong dose of sleeping pills on my bedside table. I knew I couldn't live with this burden. I couldn't continue to be a tool for a killer. As he controlled me, I felt my consciousness fade. But I still had enough strength to control a small part of my body. I reached out, grabbed the bottle of pills. I poured them all into my palm. His voice in my head roared, "What are you doing? You can't." But I didn't listen. I swallowed them all. A burning sensation ran down my throat. I felt my body grow heavy. He was struggling, trying to break free. He shrieked in my head, the scream of a trapped soul. I felt relieved. I knew this was the only way. The room gradually plunged into darkness. Flashing images flickered through my mind. The faces of those I loved. Beautiful memories. And then, there was darkness. Complete darkness. I don't know if he died with me. But I know I found release. A horrifying release, but release nonetheless. My notebook was found a few days later, next to my body. The police found no signs of another killer. They concluded I committed suicide due to life pressures. But I know the truth was different. I was a victim, and also a liberator. I ended the horrifying ordeal, ended the crimes I couldn't control. And I hope, somewhere, my soul is at peace. And the soul of the soul thief has also found eternal rest, even if it's in hell. Be careful with the contracts you sign. Sometimes, the price isn't just money, but your very soul. If you've ever experienced something similar, feel free to share it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss the next chilling story.